Problem is I couldn't read, or if I could pronounce the words in the classroom, or I didn't understand, or I didn't have the concept of what was in the book. So, ADHD, of course, we know is attention hyperactive disorder. Okay. What does that mean? That means, we have ants in our pants, or what? Coming to you very, very, very raw. What it means is the child can't, it's not that he can't sit still. Okay. There's nothing for him to keep his attention on at that time. Okay, so you gotta think of it. All right, I'm 10 years old. I'm in a classroom, and there's a teacher in front of me teaching, and there's 20 other kids around. Okay, they, all are paying attention. Me, what happened to me? I was daydreaming. Why was I daydreaming? And didn't know it at the time. I was not paying any attention to what she was saying, probably because, first of all, I didn't understand it. Second of all, it was boring to me. And probably third of all, it was going to take a whole lot more than a 30-minute session to explain to me the mathematics or anything English punctuation that she was describing or he was describing on the board to me at that time, first, second, third grade. All right, so I'm a very detailed person, and here's the thing. I know that we don't want just always showy all the time. We want somebody to come on and be real with us on YouTube. So I'm going to be as real as I can be with you. It's not about always the showiness. It's just, would you please just be real? And I like it when people are real with me. I go to their channels because of that, and I want to be able to help you. But I have to put a disclaimer is, I am not a doctor, I'm not a teacher. You can look at me as somebody who's lived it, and I can help you out with it. So let's go back in time. Let's go back in time a little bit. And, work on this together. Okay, think of it as a homework assignment. In a sense. All right, so you're 10 years old, and you are sitting in a classroom, and they give you a book. You open the book up. You're looking at all these words, and if you had dyslexia and didn't know it, the problem is I couldn't read, or if I could pronounce the words in the classroom, all right, I didn't understand, or I didn't have the concept of what was in the book, and I didn't know it. So you're going to the chalkboard, and I'm sitting back and I'm listening, but I completely tuned her out. I completely tuned her out, him out 100%, because the way they taught me, I was not on that level. I didn't know it. And this could be for you too. You may have that problem where you've all your life you've had a learning problem. You may have not understood why you've had this problem, but maybe you could never learn through a book. I pick up a book, and now I want to, I seriously just want to, when people say I write a book, I'm like, is there a video to this? Can I watch a video to this? Because I'll get 3 pages in, and then I'll push it aside onto the shelf. And that's really just the way it is with me. I don't learn through books. I have forced myself. I'll get halfway through, and unless it's a very, organized presentation on the page, I'll just, and that'll be it. And that's really the truth of it all. I didn't learn through a book, and maybe you don't either. I'm a video guy. I learn through videos. I watch YouTube. I watch, whatever Google and bring it up to teach me. I'm very visual, and that's probably what you are too. But getting back to the ADD as a child is this, because I could go off on rabbit trails, and I would never answer your question of why you tuned in today. ADHD, I had it because I was hyper, and on top of that, what makes it worse is all the caffeine. If you're drinking caffeine, Pepsis, or anything with a lot of caffeine in it, it's going to skyrocket. You're going to feel like all this energy. You're not going to be able to sit still. There's no attention. There's nothing. Okay. That also has to do with a learning process. As when you get older, the H usually disappears, and now it's called ADD. You have attention deficit disorder. What the heck does that even mean? I can't pay attention to you unless I am interested in what you're saying and what you're doing. So if you are watching this and you understand what I'm saying, I'm being as passionate as I can to you, as being as real, as raw as I can to you. If there is something I don't like or I'm not interested in, I'm just not going to watch it. If there's a TV show or something, have you ever tuned into different TV shows? Within 5 minutes, you just saw logs and you move on. You're a channel changer. You just, that doesn't interest me. And yet you just keep going down the channels. I did that too as a kid. So, you had all the action TV shows, the Dukes of Hazzard and all those, okay, that kept my attention. Okay. So if you want to capture, or if you want to get the attention of a young girl or a young boy that just seems not to pay attention in class, all right, the problem is, I'm going to use this word a lot, it's called stimulation. The brain is stimulated. Why do you think they're on their phones all the day, all the time, all day long, all the time? Because they're being stimulated by what is on that screen. Not always a good thing, but that's what it is. Back in the day, we didn't have that. We had a television. We had a television screen, and that was all we had. Okay, you go to the movie theater and you watch your movie, and I was addicted to movies. But getting back onto this, ADHD is, you want to, most likely they want to they'll learn from the movies, they'll learn from the TV shows. Mr. Rogers and Sesame Street, we were a part of that in that younger generation. Okay, I would park myself in front of the television screen and I would just zoom right in for hours. And if there was another television that was in, I learned off the screen. And the other thing with ADHD is there's highs and there's lows. And what do I mean by highs and lows is this. The hyperness comes, but also a temper tantrum comes with it. And then when they crash land after a few hours, there's possibly a depression or a fake depression that gives you your lows. Now, for me, when I was a kid, I wanted to seclude myself in a room by myself. I wanted to be away from other people. I don't know why I felt that way, but I did. I wanted to be in the room by myself watching TV or movies all the time. And any time I really had to do anything, like set the table or take the garbage out, I had to be pulled. I had to be yelled at and I had to be pulled away from what I was wanting to do because I was passionate about what I was wanting to do. I was listening to, the music and to movies. I was listening and watching the movies, okay? And I wanted to be left alone. And maybe that's something that you're going through. Maybe that's something that your kids are going through. And maybe it's just a phase. But let me tell you something. The ADHD part, you just don't. If you don't have the attention, you just can't learn properly. You just don't know. You don't know. Your child probably doesn't understand or doesn't want to understand why he can't pay any attention to what he doesn't want to do. If he's not good in English, like I wasn't good in English, If you think that I could put a comma or a period where a comma and a period goes in a sentence back in high school or elementary school, forget it. I could never get it right. And then my spelling was terrible. I couldn't get past a 4th grade reading level on spelling. I'm better now, but back then I just couldn't. And the teachers really had to draw me in with the creativity to keep my mind focused on what I was doing. So being creative with a child who has ADHD is very important. You have to be, let's say the word entertaining, to draw them in, to grab their attention, to bring them in and help them to learn. The kids today actually are just surrounded by technology 24 hours a day. Television screens, tablets and cell phones. Wherever they go, they're on a phone or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So they're always being entertained all the time. So if they're on a phone and they're not listening to you because they're texting or whatever, okay, draw into that. Understand that is something that they're probably passionate about, or it's just addictive. It's an addictive thing. Everybody's usually addicted to phones now, cell phones. Who texted me or what. It's pretty much what it is. So if your child is struggling in class, or in a special ed classroom like I had to go through, okay, just keep in mind that it is, it's not their fault. Tell them it's not their fault. It's not their fault. You have to encourage them. You have to reward them. You need to reward them on good behavior, not on bad behavior. But you need to reward them. You need to keep being positive. Because let me tell you something. When you love your child and you are positive and you reward them, they feed off of that. Okay, they feed off of that love. Because they aren't understanding that they have this. Maybe you've explained it to them. I had a test and I found out that I had ADHD. Well, here's the thing. I never knew I had ADHD when I was in school until I graduated high school and somebody told me. So it was almost too late for me to understand. They had drugs out there called Ritalin and all that stuff, and I don't think my mother and father were going to drug me and put me on drugs for that, even though it may have helped me at the time. But remember to be patient with him or her during this time, because you might have to tell them 7 times to do something. I had to be told 7 times to do something. They're gonna forget. I forgot a lot, and what it was like if it didn't register in my mind that I had to do something, I would never remember. And one of the biggest things I had problems with was homework. You think I'm going to go home and remember to do homework? Homework to me was, fingers on a chalkboard. It just was horrendous. I could never get my homework done. And some of you are probably laughing about that. But, I hope I can relate to you on this. I'm making these videos to relate to you, hopefully to maybe be a life coach to help you. And even as an adult, we're blessed to have this technology right now that helps us. We learn now through TV. We learn now through phones, tablets, to help us at the same time with living with ADHD, and I'm going to say the word suffering with it. It really made me the person I am today. I had to push to get my good grades in high school. I had to push because I didn't pay attention in class 90% of the time, and then when the teacher was finished talking or teaching, I knew there was a test coming and I was going to bomb it, because I couldn't learn from what the level of learning that they were teaching in the class. I just couldn't get it. And maybe you are feeling that way too. And like I said, I'm being as raw as I can be to you about this. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not stupid. The child is not stupid. I'm gonna tell you, there's a gift hidden inside of them waiting to come out. As if it's not the arts, it's something, but there is a gift hidden inside that person waiting to come out, and it's going to come out, and you're going to be very surprised as to what they achieve in life. I have always been an outside thinker. You know how people are in a box. I have always thought outside the box. I went to I shot through the stars with my thinking. Now there are people that are probably like me, but I always think in a three-dimensional way that other people don't think. I've always done that all my life. I'm a very, very detailed person. And the problem is when you're a detailed person, and this has to do with ADHD sometimes, is this. I would lay down in bed and I would have a hard time falling asleep because my mind would race all night long. There's something I really want to do, something I want to do, something I want to do. So if you're in a classroom and you're thinking about a certain project that you want to work on, to sit in a classroom, on something that I just couldn't comprehend was impossible for me. But you know what? I got out of it, and I graduated and went to college, and now I own my own business called In His Hands Productions, LLC, with my friend Darlene Santuzzi. We own a company. So I got through impossible situations by the grace of God on a C average grade level. Okay. So if I could do this, you can do this. I guarantee it's possible. I would like you to, comment below if any of this is registering with you. But I thank you for your time, and I'll see you on the next show. Take care.